Already know what time it is. It's your boy DJ Richie Skye back with some tea, interviews, recaps, and more. And be sure to check the links in the description of this video for trips, for books, one-on-one sessions, and more. Now let's get into the tea. What's going on, y'all? We back in the building. We are back in the building for another episode of, dare I say it? Do I even go there? I mean, so many people have an issue with the big bad Cadillac news. Why? Why is that? So for the time being, we will just go back to Sky Squad. We are in the building. Yes, there is a lot going on with Real Housewives of Atlanta, and we're going to talk about it all, in addition to the basketball wives of it all as well. So, yes, baby, yes, all the way from South Africa. Okay, so just a little reminder for those of you guys who are interested. We technically have 2 trips to South Africa, well, to Africa, I should say, on the docket, right? We have Cape Town with Richie, November 30th through December 7th, where hopefully we will get to see Miss Everything. Are you in Cape Town or are you in Johannesburg or another city? Let us know, Miss Everything. And then I had actually thought about canceling the Zanzibar trip, but I'm almost inclined to keep it open. I mean, so many people have been hitting me up behind the scenes asking if I'm still going. So if you're interested, chime in, let me know, shoot me a DM, an email, or just tap the link in the description of this video. I'll put the link back in it. I had taken it out just so you guys have the updates on that. Okay. All right. So with that being said, we want to welcome our people. Let us know where you are watching from. We're going to put the chat on the screen. Okay. We're going to put the chat on the screen. So you know what that means. Johannesburg. Okay. Joburg, baby. Joburg. So, what up? What's going on? Hey, La Claudia. What's going on, Latoya? I see you. Fort Lauderdale is in the building. Hey, Miss Sky. What's going on, Crystal? Not paid by anybody. Boo. Self-made, worldwide, Tennessee, Kentucky, Charlotte. Come on, Tennessee, St. Louis. I see you. Atlanta, La Jolla in the building. Compton. All right, y'all. We got our people in the building. So, of course, like I said, give you the disclaimer. If you say something crazy while you're on the screen, I got to kick you out of the chat because we can't have none of that, right? So I like to put the comments on the screen because I like for the people to be able to see it when they watch the replay, what other people had to say. You know, I think that's pretty cool to do. All right, so let's get into the biz naive of it all. We got a lot to cover today. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Okay, Porsha. Yes, Latoya, I will be in Vegas from the 24th of July through, I think the 28th. I think it's the 28th. I think I'll leave on the 28th, I think. So if you're in the Vegas area, I'll let you guys know where I may be partaking, okay? But I'm definitely going to see that good old Beyonce while I am in Vegas. That'll be, I think, the last stop on the tour. So I'm going to go there. Listen, I'll be in New York soon. I will definitely be in New York soon. Oh, that birthday coming up, boo. That birthday is coming right on up. All right. All right. So let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. Okay. So Porsha says that she considered turning to the women's while healing from her divorce. Do I like women's enough? Can I get with a woman's? Who can come in and fill this empty space? Who can I run to when I need love? Sing it, y'all. Who can I run to? Who should she run to? Well, I hear Ty is single. Since we'll be talking about basketball wives, I don't know if that lady's single or not. But you know, when Ty step in the room, she shuts everything down. Lil' Kim in the room, everything shuts down. All right, so let's get serious. So I don't know if you guys happen to see Porsha's full-on emancipation proclamation series that she released with People magazine in her first sit-down interview since her divorce. And you know what? I am here, okay, I am here for the dramatics of it all. I'm here for it because, to be quite honest with you, why not? This is such typical Cancer behavior. Let me show you guys how I emancipated myself. Let me also, while we're at it, why don't we channel that good old Bernadetta from Waiting to Exhale? Why don't we channel that good old Bernadetta from Waiting to Exhale? And let's recreate the scene of it all. You know, let's recreate it. Okay, so let's in case you haven't seen it, in case you've been living under a rock, let's get into the burning of it all, the burning of the bras and things, right? She is literally on fire. She looks amazing in this. I got to tell you, she does look amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, there's so much symbolism here in terms of the relationship being on the fire. Okay. There is so much here. And, you know, in her sit down interview, I mean, Porsha gave us every last bit of dramatics that you can think of. I mean, from the tears to the wiping of the dabbing of the eyes. And you know, when you watch her and you just can't help but feel for the woman. You know what I'm saying? You just can't help but feel for her. And she gives you everything under the sun in this interview. And it just makes you want to hug her through the screen. Okay. It makes you want to hug her through the screen. Don't you want to just give her a hug? Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, Bernadine. Oh Lord have mercy. Come on, Bernadine. Come on, Bernadine. Give it to us, baby. Give us all of the tea. So I want to get into a little bit of what she actually had to say. And in order to do that, I'm going to take things over to People Magazine. So give me 1 second. Let me leave us with some good visual while I get into the actual article so we can really get into the discussion of it all. 1 good second. Let's go here. I mean, because it's giving so much, you know, it's giving so much. She says, I didn't expect today to be emotional when she walks on set, but the moment she sat down at that vanity and started brushing her hair, just like Angela in that movie, it hit me. I've prettied up the ugly in my life too, when it wasn't so pretty, and I am done doing that. All right. She also talks about going through all of these different stages. You have anger, the moment where you have to fight for your life in a court situation. And then towards the end, you have the clarity where you realize you are still blessed. Your family is by your side. Your child is protected. There's a whole new life that you can count on. She says she's a hopeless romantic. Once she decides to be with somebody, she dedicates everything. Okay. And Simon matched her energy. He's very warm, she said. He loves spending time with me. We were freaking extra. If we wanted to fly out of the country every weekend or post on Instagram together about how much we loved each other, he was down for it. Okay. He was down for it. He was down with the cause. He was down to promote the love affair all over the place, as was she. Okay. She said she had been hurt in different situations. She felt defenseless. She's been lied to. She's been asked to change who she was and felt not heard. But Simon, he was settled in his life. And the biggest thing he used to stress to me was how hard he had grown. He was very upfront about the things he did in his past relationships and how he had worked on himself. Now, I got to stop it there because obviously he left out something, allegedly. Let me put the alleged badge up here. Now, he couldn't have been that upfront about his past dalliances, his past relationships. You know what I'm saying? But let's just continue to get on down into the nitty-gritty of it up. He was upfront, and he had worked on himself, and she felt protected by him, like she had met somebody she could trust. But all that changed after she uncovered what she calls complex legal issues with his legal status. All right. Now, she said that at that point, she knew that relationship was headed down a dark path. And then they had a serious discussion because being a supportive wife, she wanted to deal with these things head on. She says, I got it spelled out completely by an attorney who had been in immigration for 30 years. And her conclusion was, I don't want you to travel. I begged him not to leave the country. That was not honored. Now, I want to pause it right here. This part about not leaving the country is very interesting to me because this part feels new to me. And I always search for the grain of salt that feels a little bit different from anything that we've heard in the past. And I love to understand, what these things are when they do come about. So to say that all of this was hinging, or at least a good part of it in that point in time was hinging on her telling him that she didn't want him to travel, particularly with all of these immigration issues that had come about, and then him continuing to travel. So would you have stayed with him if he had just sat his butt down somewhere? Is that what I'm hearing? Would you have stayed in the relationship if he indeed had honored your wish to not travel? Because I can't believe it will be indefinitely, because the issues would still be coming about. And as we know, these immigration issues have just gotten worse. Well, they've just gotten a lot more complex over the past few months. So even with him not traveling, would we not assume that at some point he may face some issues with his status? That's questionable to me. Very questionable. But let us proceed. Yes, indeed. She says on Valentine's Day, they had a confrontation, and she says it was a point of no return. She says there was some paperwork that needed to be handled, and I wanted to bring in some attorneys to represent me, and that was frowned upon. And it really wasn't what he said. It was a look that just felt dark. I just knew I was not looking at the same person I loved before. I could tell that he was just pretty much checked out of the relationship at that point. So I want to know what this paperwork was about. What in this paperwork would have required her to bring in an attorney to have them discuss, and it would be such that he would respond in a way that led her to believe that it was now a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde scenario. That is what I want to know. What was the paperwork? Was it the contract for housewives? I mean, was it something else? What was it? Let us continue. She filed for divorce 8 days later. There was no infidelity, she says. She says there are some old habits, some desires he wanted to accomplish outside of family, and I think that he possibly chose those things over me. That part took over in the end. I don't know that person. What do you you don't know that person. You have not known him all that long. Let's call a thing a thing. You had not known him all that long. So, of course, you are still meeting new facets of his personality. You guys have not been together that long. You weren't together that long when you got together. The marriage was over and done faster than Phaedra was on Married to Medicine, I believe. I am Lakeisha says she was questioning the business that her name was on. Okay, so that's fair. That's fair. I just want to know what it was. Okay, so if that was it, that's grounds for questioning. But it goes back to, do you know this man well enough to launch your new marriage with this man? I say no. I say you don't know him that well. And I say at this stage of your career, I'm glad she did the prenup situation because obviously, and I do think that she is a hopeless romantic. And I think that's why she continues to find herself in these situations. Listen, no marriage is perfect. No relationship is perfect. We don't anticipate that. But somebody who is at the top of at the prime in her career in terms of opportunity, finances, what she could possibly do. The world was at that point literally hers. Now, it could still be hers, and I think she's taken that all of that power back. But it's just this whole situation is like, I mean, it's crazy, especially considering how much angst she appears to be in this interview. She basically says she loved him so much because she trusted him and she felt safe with him. And that's what she lost. She could not trust him. She says, the day before I filed, I was ready to file. I filed out of necessity to protect myself. This one, I would think he would feel like it was a blindside for him. He was so used to me always finding a way to compromise what's best for me. And this time I just did not do that. Now, Simon, for his part, tells people that they had no issues as a couple and that she is citing issues that happened in his past, that he has spent the better part of 35 years of his life making up for it. Now, to go back, she does acknowledge that at some point that the things he did in his past relationship, he had now worked on himself. But did he fail to mention some of these things to her, right? Now, she says that she prepared herself financially. She says, in my past, I was really naive. I gave up everything to be married. But this time, I came in as a businesswoman, a person who had built a substantial financial portfolio. I did a prenup. I was responsible. So in a way, that due diligence made it a softer landing to walk away. Now, this is what the article says. Simon continued to internationally travel during these 12 months during their divorce proceedings. And of course, in February, he insisted on returning to Atlanta for a court date connected to their divorce case. Before he even made it there, he was taken into custody by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Mm, 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 mm. Now, Porsha says, I find it to be very unfortunate. I don't want anything bad to happen to Simon. I don't want him in a horrible situation like that. No, 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 no. Okay. No, 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 no. It's an interesting article if you guys really dive into it. I find it fascinating just to kind of read and see like where this whole situation has been and where it's going and kind of get a inside look from her perspective on the story that she is choosing to tell us now, right? So I want to see. I think I might have missed some comments. Thank you guys for commenting. I appreciate all of the comments. Bruce says, "How about she just stay single and work on herself before worrying about hopping into another relationship? She gave what she couldn't during the season." I mean, that is very true. I do feel like this interview was very, 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 very much what she could not do and say during the season. And of course, right now, she probably, I'm sure, filmed this maybe before she left for Ireland for traders. Or maybe, I mean, I don't know. Like, they may have had it in the can or something like that. I don't know. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But we'll have to see how things pan out. We'll have to see how things pan out. Mm, mm. Begged him not to travel after hiring an immigration attorney who advised that he would. You know, that's crazy. Crazy. Woo, child, child, child. I mean, it's so dramatic. It's so dramatic, you know? Well, best of luck to her. And I think in the interview, she does explicitly state that she is going to take some time for herself, which I would highly advise. I mean, at this point in time, I think that you should basically sit down for a little bit. I'm sure there's going to be some African travel. Okay, Portia, I don't know if you hear me, but we're going to the Zanzibar, right? We're going to the Zanzibar September 22nd through the 28th. So, maybe we can find you somebody in the Zanzibar, or like I say, we are indeed going to the Cape Town at the end of November. So, there's some opportunities there. If you are feeling single and ready to mingle, we can find you some Africans, right? Some other African men, potentially, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Oh well. Next story. Shout out to Porsha. Congratulations on the successful divorce. I think. Okay, let's talk Britt, Edie, Kelly, Pharrell. So Kelly is making the interview rounds, which is smart because if she's going to get the word out about this termination of the pregnancy while she's married, if she's going to squash that immediately, she needed to get out in front of this story. I said, I don't know if it could potentially impact her divorce. I mean, is she divorced already? I don't know because it's so many divorces happening. They'll be taking like 13 years. They be taking a long time. Okay. So, oh God, I'm looking at some tea that just came across from TR. Allegedly opening up shell companies in her name. Oh no. And got mad when she wanted an attorney to look over it. Ooh. Ooh. The T is on the screen. The T is on the screen. Ooh. 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 I feel like Sheree. Come on through with the TTR. Oh, okay. So Kelly is divorced. Okay, great. Great. Perfect. Thank God. Thank God. Because that situation sounded really horrible. So I hate to hear about those types of things. I can never understand, and I gotta pull the screen up a little bit. I can never understand men. I can't understand anybody who would choose to put their hands on someone else that they claim to be in love with. It does not register to me how that works. How is that? How do you view love in that way? And I understand that a lot of these situations, that type of behavior is passed down, but it just seems like this, even if you mad at the person that you love, like it doesn't occur to me to put my hands on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I'm really mad, I mean, I did at one point in time have like in my mind, like, oh my God, I'm so angry at somebody that I feel like I want to fight. But even at that moment, my senses, my better motor skills my mind takes over, right? And it's like that's not something we do at this big age, right? And that was another dude, somebody who did something, a former friend who did something to me, right? But and though even in that situation, I feel like I just chose to walk away. Like you just walk away because if you understand that you are the prize, regardless of what happens, then you ain't ever gotta do anything to anybody to get back at nobody, right? You the prize, walk away, that's it. Period. So I just never understand that. Anyway, I just had to get on my soapbox real quick and say that because Kelly's situation, from what she says, sounds bad, right? And I don't like the sounds of it. Let's get back to the story. So, Kelly, in this interview with Entertainment Tonight, I think it was with Bryce Sander, and shout out to the Bravo Shade Room for this tea right here. Kelly says that Britt lied about her terminating her pregnancy, but she says that the pill popping statement is true and she can back it up. She says, "Tell me when you didn't put pills on the table." I just want to know, okay, what pills were they? Is anybody going to tell us? Was it anxiety medicines? Was it the anti-anxiety? Was it diet pills? Do people still take diet pills in the age of the OZO of the Ozo? Like, do people still take diet pills? What was the pills and the potions of it all? I want to know. Was it a little zany? A little zany make you canny? You know what? What was it? That's what I want to know. Because okay, so I gotta go. I have got to start. I have got to get back into my game of watching all the T shows. I really do. I really do. I really do. But my Monday nights be so hectic. Okay, they be so hectic. Um. See, this is why you don't take your pills and potions and distribute them to everybody. Especially when you know half these people don't like you. I mean, what to go on? Like, you got to be smarter than that. All right. Now, if you need your pills and potions to get through it, please know that when you go on these shows, if you tell somebody about your pills and potions or your terminations of your pregnancies, that it may and can and will likely be used against you. No one on this show is your friend for life. Okay. Let's just call a thing a thing. No one on any of the shows that you are on is your friend for life. They are no longer your friend for life. That is just not how it's going to be anymore. Period. Okay? So you have got to be smarter than that. If you want to go and take your meds or whatever you got to take to get through and through and through, then go into the bathroom. Like for real. Go and what did Nene tell Latoya Jackson? Go and cry in the bathroom, okay? Go and hide. Run and hide, Casper, okay? Run and hide, Casper. Meanwhile, let me get back to it. Just a note for people considering doing reality TV. When you do these types of ensemble shows, you do know that it is steeped in drama, right? And chaos and calamity. Some in the secrets that you tell. Why would you tell anybody any of the secrets that you have and think that at some point in time it's not going to be public if they get mad at you? You got to know that walking in. You got to be smarter than that. So after doing that interview and seeing it, you know, Britt is back on the socials. Britt is back on social medias. All right. And she tells Kelly, you better keep it on the playground before I provide the receipts on who it was by while she was married. She don't want to go there. So what Britt is letting us know in this short blurb right here is that she is, let me put the alleged badge back up here just so you guys can see it. She is making an allegation that there's receipts on who the man was and that it was while she was married. So I guess if the divorce is finalized, I mean, it's kind of like much ado about nothing. Because I mean, at this point, Kelly could be like, yeah, and so what? Okay. As she did say in the interview, my body, my choice. But she says it was a lie. So I don't know. But to me, I do feel like Britt. We have a little bit of a hard time taking anything from you at this point regarding what the ladies say on the show, although you do have a right to defend yourself, because the time for you to defend yourself would have been at the reunion. Okay. All right. That is the time. That's when you do it. That's when you say these things. That's when you get your yah with your receptacles. Okay. Right. Okay. All right. So it's time for us finally, it has happened to me. To get to the main event. And the main event. Hold on. I thought I just saw some new news pop up. Okay. And the main eventicle right now is Basketball Wives. Okay. So we're going to move on over to Basketball Wives. And we're going to discuss the episode. But I want to pull up a visual for you. Shout out to our friends over at the Jasmine brand. In this episode of Basketball Wives, let me give you the episode name. Give me 1 second, y'all. So it's Basketball Wives season 12, episode 7. It says that we are done talking. The ladies navigate the fallout from the altercation in Las Vegas. Jackie remains ignorant to issues between her and her daughter. Chantel gets rid of her mother. Brandy and Evelyn have a falling out, and wildfires hit LA. You know, I watched this episode this morning because last night I was watching a movie. But now I don't remember what I was watching. Anyway, so I watched it this morning when I woke up. And I was, just thinking about, the things. I always try to think about the highlight. What is the hot topic of the episode? I really can't come up with a hot topic for this one. It really felt like a filler episode to the degree that it did not necessarily move the story forward that much. But we did see the ladies helping out with the wildfires, which was, I think, a great thing because it does highlight that the ladies come together to work towards, something greater than themselves, which I think is super important for these shows to do in this day and time, especially with so many things popping off all of the time, right? One of the highlights, I guess we could call it a highlight or a low light, depending on what you think about it. And rate the episode in this description if you happen to catch it, right? I'm trying to think of my rating. A lot of you guys often tell me that I'm so lenient with my ratings. And again, I just be happy to have stuff to watch, right? But if I had to really lean in and give this episode a serious rating, and I've really took away any ratings that I've done on any other show before, and I just look at it with how I feel on today, I would probably give this episode a 7 or a 7.5. You know what I'm saying? Because I really didn't. I don't feel like I was really that entertained. Again, not every episode is going to be as explosive as the last episode was. And I think that's part of the issue, right? It's a good thing and a bad thing. You can't really follow up all the time an explosive episode with something equally as explosive. So you kind of have to do like a little cool down period before the next explosion comes. The other reason that I have to give this episode a 7, it's going to be a solid 7, is because we did not get a preview for the next episode. I was pissed, okay? I was pissed because we literally just had a 2-week span, or at least a week where we did not have an episode, come back with an explosive episode, followed by this episode, and then you don't even give us a preview for the next episode. Like, WTF? Why is that? Why would you do that? Is the episode not coming on next week? Is it not? I ask you. Is it not? Is it not coming back on next week?
Is it a coincidence? I ask you.
So, give me the reason, Paramount. What was the reason? At least give me something to look forward to. All right. Now that I'm off of that soapbox, one of the things that we happened to see in this episode was everybody was really just kind of getting together and recapping, Las Vegas. And Chantel gets together with, I think it was Ming. I believe it was was Chantel there? I can't recall. And not Chantel, was Brittany there? Was Brittany there? So it was Chantel, Evelyn, and Ming, and I think maybe Brittany. They get together and they all talk about the situation. And Chantel basically goes into, this idea that there was some level of competition maybe between her and her mom for her dad's like attentions or / affection. I don't know if that's a common thing or not. But I do know that is this what did you think was going to happen when you signed on for this show? And granted, I do believe that there is some element of me that has to know that y'all knew that some of these family issues were going to come into play on this show. You could not have thought it was going to be all peaches and roses, because the way Chantel responds to Jackie, especially with her never having met Chantel's, man, like, if you're married to this man, why would your mother not be able to meet him? That's wild to me. You are on her show. So with those thoughts in mind, and you can tell because Chantel's irritation with her mom is palpable. It is, you can see Jackie walks a tightrope with her. And that again could be Jackie's fault. I don't know. We weren't there. We've heard stories. We've heard conflicting stories. And so to see this relationship fall apart in this way on the show, I would have to believe, based on Chantel's very fast annoyance with her mother, that you would have to have known that you weren't all the way there with her in any way, shape, or form. She ain't even met the husband. Okay. And so Brittany is also mad because she's got issues with her own mother. And I feel like those issues should be reserved for her. But you having residual issues with Jackie, when that is really not your business, it's not your place to jump into a relationship situation with anybody else's mother, even if that is your friend who you just met 2.5 seconds ago. Like, you praying, somebody said in the chat, you praying 1 second, cursing the next. Like, it's very hard to follow where you are on this journey. And granted, nobody is perfect when it comes to religion. So I'm not gonna I don't want to go there with it, because that's not I don't think that's cool, because we call ourselves, a lot of us call ourselves Christians, but we don't always act like it. But we know we washed in the blood. Okay. But all that aside, I mean, I just feel like, Brittany's anger is misplaced, if you ask me. And you're right. I think it could be a little bit of trauma bonding, right? So I just kind of think that and that's why I say Britney's actions are they're a little, I don't know. They don't, it's hard to follow with Britney. It's hard to follow. I think that's the best way to put it. And Evelyn is just, I do feel like Evelyn, as a mother, I would honestly kind of expect her to have a bit more compassion for Jackie, but she has zero compassion for Jackie. And I'm like, you have all of these beliefs about what you think about Jackie, but you've never been in their situation. It would be better if Evelyn was a bit more of a neutral party, somebody that was dedicated to maybe bringing Chantel and Jackie back together. Because what it does is it makes Chantel look like she is just fraternizing with Jackie's enemies for the sake of having backup support against her mom. That's what it looks like. Bruce says Chantel needs to exit left. She brings unnecessary drama to her mother and ganging up on her with Brittany, and I don't like it. Hashtag Team Jackie always. Well, here's what I will say. I don't necessarily believe that she shouldn't be on the show, but I just kind of think that it's just an interesting dynamic that's playing out. The part that I have a problem with Chantel is this desire to want to call daddy. Do you want to be treated like the grown woman that you are so upset about people not thinking of you as, or do you want to be thought of as just the daughter? Like, you've got to at some point pick a role and stick to it. That does not mean that you are not still Jackie's daughter, but what that means is that you stand on your own. You're not threatening to call daddy when you have an issue with mommy. You take that issue with mom and you walk through it. And if you can't walk through it, you dang sure ain't gonna let some other woman who you just met 2.5 seconds ago curse your mama out jump at her, scream at her, yell at her when she ain't got nothing to do with your issues with your mama. And matter of fact, I don't even understand the issue with your mama because your mama said something to Brandy. She checked her that night. She talked to her the next day and told her she needed to have a conversation with you. She tried to mediate. She told Brittany she was thankful that Brittany had your back. What do you want this woman to do? It is very confusing. It is very confusing to me. And I think because of that confusion, we're all just sort of looking at Chantel like, girl, what do you want? Because not once have you been able to spell out for us what you want your mother to do. How do you want your mother to act or not act? What is it that you want from her? Can you at least be clear about it? Because if you're not going to be clear about it, it just looks like you're constantly complaining about your mother and some issues that you guys have had from the past that you haven't obviously worked through. So if you can't tell us what you want, we're always going to be confused. And that's the reason why people are going to keep saying, why are you on this show? Because you can't spell out in an adult way what it is that you need from your mother in order for you guys to move forward or for you at least to be happy. Don't get it. Don't get it. And Denise, who has been on this show yet again for 2.5 seconds, coming at Jackie, talking tough talk when you dangling on the end. We don't know you well enough. You barely go here, right? You barely go here. So you coming at Jackie is crazy. And I am actually team Jackie and happy that Jackie walked away from that situation because it really wasn't going to be anything that came of that conversation. It wasn't going to be like Denise could do anything, but it's like, Denise, you don't even know Jackie. It would be better for you to at least try to get to know her before you start making these assessments about people that you have no idea about when you just joined 2 seconds ago. Have we even seen more than one confessional look from you yet? I don't know, right? What is your story? What do you have going on? And as much as I love Ty on this show, I mean, she really barely only came into use at the end of this episode. And I'll tell you why, because it was her standing up for Jackie because she was there. I think, was she there at that little spa day that they had when they was getting the vitamin drips with Jennifer and Brandy and Jackie and Denise? I think Ty was there, but she didn't really say too much until the end, right? When they were volunteering for the fires. So then we see Evelyn and Brandy getting together because Evelyn is hosting an event for all of the peoples. And in this event, she basically, is gathering the girls to help people for the fires. And she wants to go grab some crystals and she calls Brandy to come with her. So things start off relatively nice, but then Brandy is like, they start talking about Vegas, and Brandy's like, I really didn't have a good time with you. And Evelyn is shocked and what? Gasp? What do you mean? And Brandy's like, I got your good girlfriend, Shawnee there. I did all of these things for you, and you really just didn't seem like you weren't giving me any good energy most of the time that we were there. And Evelyn is like, what? Girl, you was hanging on to Jennifer's tatas like a baby that needs some milk, okay? So I don't want to hear it. And you was putting your hands in Shawnee's face. And to that, I say, and what does that have to do with you, Evelyn? Like, it has absolutely zero to do with you that two grown women were having a conversation. Shawnee, has she never said anything about what Brandy had on? It was a Vegas wedding that was, officiated by, I don't even remember. It was in a dusty old Vegas, like casino basement or something like that, allegedly, possibly. And furthermore, Shawnee, you weren't even interested in going. So why do you care if Brandy's butt cheeks are out and on the table? Brandy's butt cheek could be leaking for all we care, for all you should care, because you're not even going. You're not going. You shunned that wedding faster, okay? You shunned that wedding faster than the ladies could turn on sweet tea and marry to medicine. All right? That's how fast you shunned that lady when it was an invite for the wedding. I don't want to go over there. Even though I'm in town with nothing else to do, I don't want to go over there. I came for Everlyn. So if you had never commented on what Brandy had on, talking about she could never come to your wedding, girl, you ain't invite her to your wedding. So what do you care? How do you even fix your mouth to say, well, you couldn't wear that at my wedding, but I didn't even invite you to my wedding? Like, girl, what? And you barely go here either. You barely go here. You barely go here. So if you had kept your mouth shut about what another grown woman is wearing to a wedding that you don't want to go to, then you never would have got all of this. You never would have got that. Because you can get it too. And I'm so glad that Brandy is got the hands, because Brandy and her hands, I tell you, they be getting, remember this? So that's why you got the hands. Stop talking about people that ain't got nothing to do with you. And then you'll be fine. Okay. So I do believe that Everlyn, to me, is in the wrong in this situation. Should Brandy have invited Jennifer to any of the events? No, not in real life, but we all know what this is. And Evelyn, last season, you was inviting Jackie to things where Brooke had a problem with Jackie. So it's quid pro quo at this point. I mean, bad analogy, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like Evelyn was inviting Jackie to things when Brooke had a problem with her, and everybody had to get over it. So why would it be beyond the realm of possibility that Brandy might feel bad for Jennifer and want to have her around and not excluded? She pulling the play out of your book. So that whole situation, and I'm with Brandy. I don't like this little thing that Evelyn does when she gets into it with somebody where she acts like, well, I could care less. I did feel like Brandy was being the adult in this situation and addressing the issue head on. I did not get the general sense that Brandy wanted to have any issues with Everlyn. I think that she came to the table like basically saying, like, I don't feel right about our interactions when we were in Vegas. Let's talk about it. That's what people do when they want to move past issues. But Everlyn, in her Everlyn way, just had to make it all about, getting the best of Brandy. And I just felt like, Brandy, your time would be better spent getting back together with Jason than it would be trying to make up with Evelyn, because at a certain point in time, you got to realize Evelyn is nobody's friend but Shawnee. So, there is that. Next. There's an invite. Oh, Jennifer tries to have a conversation with Brittany because Jen has lost her mom. Okay. So when you lose a parent, it changes everything about how you view issues with friends, families, and loved ones, right? To me, at this point in time, after having lost my dad, I don't have time for no issues with nobody. I don't. Because life is short. You do not know when a person's time is going to be up. Okay. No man knows the day nor the hour. So what I felt like what Jennifer was trying to convey to her is real. However, I can respect that Brittany has an issue with her mom. Apparently some things have really gone down where she feels like she cannot trust her mom. And that is going to be something that she has to reconcile with in time. Good conversation. I felt like it was warranted, but I also feel like Brittany needs to apologize to Jackie, in my opinion, because this is some business that you have no idea what the true backstory is because you were not there. And as a result, you are meddling now in somebody's business and stirring a pot for which you're not prepared to continue baking the cake. Okay. You came in while the cake is all, the batter is already in, about to put it into the oven. And now you come in thinking that you want to add your little couple sprinkles when ain't nobody asked you for it because this ain't a sprinkle cake. Okay. So you take your sprinkles back to the Piggly Wiggly and you go about your merry own way and figure out what it is that you want to do with your mama before you come over here and try to bake cakes with mine. How about that? Right, calling her all type of devils and demons and whatnot and woo. I'm like, no ma'am, Pam, no ma'am. And Chantel, I got an issue with you for letting this woman talk about your mama like that, because what it should be is this: you can talk about your mama, okay, because you got the issues with her and she your flesh and blood. But at the end of the day, somebody else can scream and call your mama a bee, all types of bees and names like that, and you cool with it? Oh no, girl, because now the pendulum can't swing both ways. Because you expect for her to have all your whole backside and your front side with Brandy for calling you a child, when in fact you did act like a child at a certain point because you got to call daddy. But now you have a whole different set of rules for your own mama when it comes to your friends that you just met for 2.5 seconds. Make that make sense to me. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Period. So then the girls all get together for Everlynn's event. Not everybody, because Brandy is done with Everlynn for the minute. Jennifer ain't trying to be around Everlynn. Chantel don't want to be around her mama. So that leaves Everlynn, Denise, Brittany, Ty, and Jackie, because Ming's daughter had some type of birthday celebration, so she had to go. She had to do things. She had to be with her kids. Ming said, I'm not sacrificing my relationship with my daughter like y'all hoes. Not today. So anyway, everybody gets together, and nobody's really talking to Jackie except for Ty. The energy is tense. Jackie can overhear Denise and, Brittany talking about her. Now Jackie is riled up about Denise, because Denise got a whole lot of crap to talk for somebody that don't know nothing about their relationship. Okay. Jackie know she got about 30 seconds before she pops off, so she leaves after being there for 30 minutes. Now, the rest of the ladies are looking at her like, girl, why did you even come if you only going to be here for 30 minutes, right? We got a mission to accomplish. But Ty is like, why would I wouldn't stay here neither, because y'all not going to sit around here and talk about me while I'm 2.5 spaces away from you, right? I'm 2.5 feet away from you, thinking I can't hear you talking about me, and I'm supposed to be on my best behavior because we down here for the relief to help these folks, and y'all sitting there talking about me, running your mouth back and forth, saying some slick stuff that I'm not trying to hear. You think I'm supposed to stay? No. So Ty was like, I don't blame her for leaving. Period. But somebody got to have a Ponderosa. Somebody got to have a Ponderosa. And that's basically where we left off. And we don't know if that Ponderosa is coming, because y'all couldn't even be bothered to give us a little promo for the next episode. If you're going to be off for next week, the very least you could have done was give us a little bit of a mid-season trailer or something like that. And maybe that's what we'll get for the final 3 episodes, or however many episodes are left in the season. I would imagine that it's only about 3 or 4, maybe at the most, maybe 3, 4, 5, maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Reunion will probably be 1 episode or a 30-minute special, because that's what they do. So anyway, that's all we got for the episode. I left mad. See, to me, Miss Barbara, the problem I have with this, Miss Barbara, is that Jackie did come to Chantel's defense. Jackie told Brandy right there in the moment when she said the whole thing about being in a child's place. Jackie deaded that right there. She said, we're not going to do that. If we're going to have a situation where you guys have a disagreement, it's got to be on some woman-to-woman conversation. That cannot happen. Jackie said that. Jackie also she literally asked Chantel, do you want me to step in further? She asked her that several times. Then, in a separate scene, while they was having drinks in the sky, Jackie told her, you need to rectify the issue that you have with Chantel. You apologize to me, but you need to handle this thing with her. So outside of that, I don't know what it is that this again to me goes back into Chantel not having the ability to really vocalize what it is that she wants from Jackie. It sounds to me like there's a lot of unspoken assumptions about Jackie. And this is what I mean by that. It means to me that there are moments when Chantel has an expectation of what Jackie is going to do. So because she has an expectation of what Jackie is either going to do or is about to do in a situation, she has already raised her blood pressure with the anticipation that Jackie is going to disappoint her. So what happens in these situations is, regardless of how Jackie responds, from what it appears is though that assumption in Chantel's head about how Jackie is going to respond has already triggered and disappointed her, so that it doesn't even matter what Jackie does as a response. She's already triggered and upset because she's made up in her mind that Jackie is already going to disappoint her. So now she's living out that disappointment. And so it becomes obvious to us as viewers, like, girl, like, you've got to either listen to what's happening and assess in the moment, at moment by moment, each scenario, because that's what we do in real life. We don't walk in. When you walk into a situation and you anticipate the worst from somebody, guess what you normally get? You get the worst, because you've already set your mind up to look for the worst. So no matter what that person does, it's going to feel like, oh, there they go. They're doing exactly what I thought. Well, I mean, you kind of put that person in a trick bag at that point, because you don't have any trust in what they say or they do, because you don't truly, I mean, it could be that you don't truly even like that person. You may love your mother, but you may not like her. And if you don't like her, that is going to make it very difficult for whatever she says or however she moves moving forward. Period. And that's that. That's just that, you know? And I get it. Those relationship issues are so complex and they are deep-seated. But we've got to take a look at where you are now and the behavior that you're exhibiting now. And we can only tell you what it looked like on the screen, girl. This is what it looked like. And if you don't like her, then why would you be on a show with her? That is the question. That is the question.
Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? I ask you.
So, whew.
Right. Erica, you're bugging the shit out of me.
That's how I feel. Chantel, you are bugging the ish out of us. Get it together. All right, y'all. So listen, that's the tea we got for y'all today. Basketball Wives, of course, another episode 7. We gave it a 7 for our rating, or at least I did. You know, it is what it is. We got Porsha having her emancipation of Mimi moment, right? Her Bernadines, you know, setting the world on fire. And we got Brittany with some alleged receipts about some alleged man that Kelly was allegedly with, that she allegedly got, you know, was pregnant by, allegedly. So there you go. With that being said, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Remember, y'all, we have the trips coming up. Yes, indeed. Cape Town. You haven't been to Cape Town before. Listen, y'all have seen what the past 6 months have been like. I don't know what it's going to take, what you waiting on, okay? Because the world is crazy, but you gotta still make time to do what you got to do and explore this world, because things are going to change on a day-to-day basis, and you just never know what life is going to throw. So that's why I tell you people to travel, and you can travel with me. All right. and you can do it in a safe environment with good people. I know I know this entire crew that's taken us there, and it is going to be everything. And then, like I said, we have Zanzibar on the menu still. We kind of monitor situations that are happening around the world as they continue to develop, but it, can't stop, won't stop, can't stop, won't stop. All right. So if you're interested, tap in. I'll put the link back in the description. I've taken it out for a little while, but I may put it back in there unless I hear something else that, makes us have to modify, right? We have to remain flexible, but we still get our travel on. And then, of course, like I said, make sure you guys tap into our Rich Life community. I did find a trip to Dubai for $9. They have trips to Honduras for what, like $250. We've got, where else did we have? Oh my God. It was so many places that was on the list for these world tours that we have. And these are like 5-star hotels and the entire thing. I'm telling you, when I tell you the prices for these things are super duper low, they will make your head spin. Okay. Head spin. All right. So with that being said, text 202-918-3386 and text the word Rich Life, all caps, if you are interested in that. With that being said, y'all know I love y'all, and I will catch y'all in the next